Hello Year 6, today we're looking at circle patterns. Now if you had a chance to do this on Thursday, that was some similar work to this and it was quite a nice little extra thing for you to do as an optional bit. So you've had a taster. Don't worry if you didn't do it, you're at no disadvantage. We're going to be going back to some basics with this and we'll see how far you get through it. You'll need a sharp pencil, a pair of compasses, paper, ruler, rubber, and if you want to use it, that maths pad tool. Well done those who'd used it last week. It did seem to be quite a handy way of constructing things neatly. If you used it last week, maybe mix it up, use pen and paper, or sorry, pencil and paper today, or vice versa. It's nice to try out new things. Okay, we're going to use the Busy Book 6C today for these questions as a source of questions and also some really nice examples and pictures to follow. So dust it off, find it if you can, and we're going to be looking at pages 22 and 24. You'll get instructions in a second about what specifically you're doing. And on Thursday I made some videos with some examples of how I was making some things. I'll drop them in a second to show you how we can do things. Now, throughout your work today, think about the maths and the geometry that makes these shapes work. It's not just, oh, colour this in. There's some really cool maths behind why these things work and why this idea of a constant radius being used to make your circles and your arcs and your lines really works, and it's why it's important. So have a think, oh, what maths will work for me here? Where's the centre of this arc or the centre of the circle I'm drawing? Don't just think, oh, I'll just trace it or something silly. Really think about the maths and geometry. And with these questions, you're given an example of what you need to produce. You need to think of it like a puzzle. So what do the instructions tell me about how to make it? What can I start from and then adapt to make the shape they're looking for? So look at what looks similar to something you did previous. And do I need to keep some lines and remove others? Busy Ant does prompt you as to what you need to remove, but doesn't always tell you exactly what it is. So do a bit of spot the difference, think about what I'd need to use and make. So a bit of a problem-solving thing here as well. So here is the work. For the first 25 minutes, we're going to choose your challenge from page 22. I'm going to now show you my video that helps you with the material on page 22 on the left-hand side in challenges 1 and challenge 2.
Hello Year 6, this is my face. Welcome. So I'm trying to do something clever here. I've got a camera here looking at me so you can see what I'm doing here. I've got a camera up here so you can look down at what's happening on my page. So let's see if this works. This is a bonus activity. It's also a bit of fun for me to try and make a video that is exciting and interesting and dual screeny. So you've done some nice work with these. This is a pair of compasses. This is my pencil. This is the pointy leg. We're going to talk about how we can use these to make a really cool maths pattern. Let's start off. So let's follow through the instructions and let's see how we go. Got my notes here to remind myself what we're doing here. So the first thing we'll start with is just a basic flower pattern. Now the key thing here is to make sure that the legs of your compasses are not too wobbly. Now these are fairly good at holding in place. If they're really wobbly and they go everywhere, then just find there should be some screws to hopefully tighten it up. Yours might be different, but hopefully there is a way to tighten it so it's going to hold in place. So once I've set my radius for my circle, this will stay as it is and that will be done. Now, I am a bit picky about how I do circles with a pair of compasses. I don't like it when people sort of grab them like this and try and sort of carve around corners like you're some sort of Neanderthal. Be careful, be delicate, and try and preserve the radius you have here, because that's the key thing about why a pair of compasses are cool, is because this distance remains the same for your radius. So first thing I'm going to do is to just mark a tiny little cross in the middle for the centre of my circle. This is where I'll start, and by putting that little mark there, very small mark, it helps me know where my middle is should I need to go back to it. So I've set a radius. It doesn't have to be exactly a certain distance, but I think maybe, well, I'm going to try and use the whole page. So as long as the radius is such that it doesn't go off the page at any point, I'm fine. So this looks like maybe, what, 6 centimetres, maybe 7. So I'm going to hold the pointy leg. I'm not going to hold up here because I don't find I get enough control, and I'm definitely not going to touch this pencil bit because that will change the radius. Here we go. So point on there, and what I like to do is to rotate the page and not the tool. So just go around, and that has hopefully drawn a very nice pretty circle. So hopefully above you can see that works a nice circle. Now from here I'm going to put the pointy leg onto the circumference of this circle. Okay, and I'm then going to draw an arc from one part of the circumference through the centre and back over there. Okay, So I've drawn that arc, and you might spot it's gone through the centre. That's no accident, because the distance between the circumference and the centre is exactly how we left our legs earlier. Okay, so I've done that. I'm now going to take the pointy bit of my legs again and put it where that arc meets the circumference. And let's go again. Good. Okay, let's keep going around. Let's move to the next one along. You might find you can just do these by a quick twist of the wrist and keep going around. And what you should create are lots of arcs that every time go through the center of that circle every single time. It's a good mark of your accuracy that it should return through that point every time. If it's not, then maybe something's gone wrong. Maybe you're placing the compass in the wrong place, or you've changed the radius on it. And what you should end up with is what's called a flower pattern. Okay, that's part one.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And my tip here is this, that you can do page 22. If you're feeling a bit not sure about this, start off with challenge 1. Just get the hang of making that simple hexagonal shape. And here's a quick hint from my video from that.
Okay, so back to this. Another cool thing you can do with a pair of compasses and a circle here is to create a regular hexagon. Why is it a regular hexagon? Well, let's think. We're going to make this regular hexagon out of several shapes that are very easy to make using a equal length like this. I'll construct it. Let's see what you think it looks like as we make it, and you'll spot what the cool feature is we're using to make that hexagon. So just like before, I've made a circle. Here's one I made earlier, very blue pizza. And then I'm going to just make an arc there and put a friend over there. I'm not drawing the full arc like I did for the flower. I'm just making those two marks. And now if I go around to my next one, little arc here and a little arc over here. Let's keep going around. A little arc here. Oh look, they cross over. And a little arc here. And same here. This is hopefully still proving I'm using the same radius each time. And I think this should be my last one. Just check that's okay, and check that's okay. Good. I now have 6 points marked onto my circle. I can now take a ruler and a pencil, and I am going to join these. So bear with me while I do this. I might fast forward this in the video, or you can just enjoy watching me drawing straight lines with a ruler. And that's probably the top of my head in the video now. Okay. 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's just a tickle. I haven't got a real cough, don't worry. Now, that's a hexagon. It's got 6 sides. We know the distance from point to point to point to point to point is always the same, so it must be regular in terms of its side length. If I was to measure these angles, I would find them the same as well. I'm just going to add something else here to see if you spot how we've actually done this, what trickery is behind this. If I draw these lines going across the middle of my hexagon, you'll spot they all pass through the centre of the circle. That's jolly cool. And look there. What have we got here? What would you describe this as being? Let's put it in the middle of the picture here. Well, we have 6 triangles that make up my hexagon, and these are all equilateral triangles because this side is the same as this side, is the same as this side. This is all one radius in terms of length. And so the angles are the same, and so this is a regular hexagon. So that's how you make a hexagon.
Okay, so you've seen that hexagonal video as well. So 2 useful things to see there. My tip is to maybe, if you're feeling confident, just dive straight in at challenge 2. Do at least one design fully. So you can see on page 23 at the top there, there's the pinky yellow one, the bluey one, and the green one. You could just do one of them really fully to fill up your 25 minutes, or do 2, but don't do a really half effort on all 3. That wouldn't really be doing this justice. And if you get onto challenge 3, that's really cool. I think there's some really good thinking to be done in challenge 3 about how you can create those yellow and blue patterns. So that is the first part of it. Spend 25 minutes or so on that. Don't spend a whole hour or 2 hours, something silly. And the last bit, please. A bit of a challenge here. Have a look at page 24. Start off with challenge 1. You can just look over this if you're happy just to visualize how it works. If you can read through those instructions and think, oh yeah, that makes sense, then use that information in challenge 2. If you're not very sure, then do it and see if that helps you when you're tackling challenge 2. Then if you're a confident person, or if you just want to move on to it, then start at challenge 2. if you can produce that shape, if you can get that six-pointed star, or even go on to the really cool triangles overlapping each other pattern, that'd be wonderful. It's actually a very pleasing thing to complete, so I recommend persevering with it. And if you want to keep this to one side, maybe submit to us and say, oh, Dr. Baines, I did this, I did the hour's work, and this is what I got to, you can come back to it in your own time and keep working on it. It's like doing your own drawing or piece of artwork. And my tip for all of this is don't press too hard. When you're constructing lines, if you just carve a valley of pencil markings into your page, then it's going to be very hard to rub that out. Gentle, clear, but gentle markings will really help you out. Okay, now Dr. Baines and I have a pretty good idea of what makes a full lesson of work for you guys, so please give you a full measure and take pride in it. Do ask if you need help as well. Pop us an email, say, oh, Dr. Baines, Mr. Jeans, I tried this and I can't do it. We can then respond, help you out. What we don't like to see, not because we're angry, but because it sort of breaks our heart in a way, is to see someone spends a long time and doesn't get very far or something. Just ask us, please. And please produce a good bit of work that you are proud of, and I hope that you can finish this work and put it on the wall or give it to, as a postcard to someone. If you're rushing through this in order to play video games at lunchtime, then you're clearly not doing justice to the work, or indeed yourself. So enjoy this. Tomorrow I have devised an exciting investigation about the maths of social distancing. So, well, we look forward to that. Right, good luck.